Hello, 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 folks. Hello, hello. Is it Mysootis Clover? Mytoosiva Clover, maybe. How are you doing, mate? I'm just jumping back in here. More Worlds Upon the Wind. I am very, very happy to be back with this game. I've been looking forward to get the chance to play this more. Glad to hear you're doing well, mate. So, if I do remember when we left off, yes. We've gone on the quest, run a new expedition, reach a total of 150 harmony during a mission, and establish a monastery in a forest, mountain, or canyon. We had spent all of our insight. Yep. Everything there is good. So I reckon we can just jump straight into it. Launch a new expedition. Yes, we currently have down as our signature glyph. Let's go. Okay. So for our quest, so monastery in forest, mountain, or canyon. We have no canyons available, some forest right over here on the far left. Meaning we're probably looking to establish a monastery in a mountain area to actually achieve that goal. Of course, we also need to get enough harmony. We're starting off with a quest for beauty. It's a low one, which should be simple enough to achieve just about anywhere. You know, I do not think we've actually even started in a desert yet so far, this game. No. Yeah, there's a few different biomes, regions, which I haven't actually had the chance to see yet, though from the full game. Yeah. This should be simple enough, so we're looking for harmony in addition to the beauty if we can manage that. And Bonded Rock seems like a very good place to start. Like, event, beauty, and harmony. Yeah, so you stand there. Soon after the Great Rocks were tied for rope declared to be married, some settlers began to complain. Since rocks were unequal in size, they represent an unequal relationship. Okay, because we're right at the start, the only option we have is ignore the complaints. I'm assuming this is going to be a negative effect, which is a bit sad, but okay, minus harmony. Not ideal, but it's nice to get the negative effects out of the way, so we know what they do in the future. Town Council declares the issue invalid and refuses to address it. The complaints soon dissipate, but an air of dissatisfaction remains. Yeah, driftwood shawl if I can get that will more than make up for the lack of harmony. And then if I want other beauty stuff, we have the Subterranean Archive. Cactus Forest won't quite do it on its own, so we are going Underground Storehouse. Cool, dark, and full of things someone meant to come back for. Looking for craft and radiance here. Now, tragically, I cannot make use of this continue. So I'm just going to grab beauty from there at least, which gets me up to the amount I'm looking for. Actually, I probably could have gone for something other than the underground storehouse, but oh well. Redraw stuff there. We can get the driftwood shawl, which is nice. Yeah, won't be able to get anything else here. Yeah, not with only the one drawer available to us, so let's just go you. You. The sea leaves its gifts here, unwilling to stay in debt. Yeah, not going to be anything else we can do. Yeah, that could just become another earth. Not useful. End the foray. Sunagura, Stand Vault, after its underground storehouse. Connection and life on bird seems pretty good, and that's a blessing too. Blessing card is good. Adventure especially, I find, is usually one of the hardest yields to actually grab. In any quantities, gaining the ability to bless that will be very useful, I do think. Cannot settle the far shore yet. Just keep pushing up the coast. Adventure, knowledge, yep, keep pushing up. Desert seashore again. Yeah, driftwood shawl, Well, call the shrine, they're good for knowledge. Of course, the underground storehouse and subterranean archive, like we did earlier, is also excellent for that. Just go just there, underground storehouse, same kind of route as we did previously. Now here we'll grab this shipping warehouse. And then, yeah, we're not going to be able to get 2 Radiances in order to get the Navigator's Guild, but we're not going to be able to get 2 crafts either to do ships at sea. So I'll probably aim for the Subterranean Archive for both of these advanced ones if I can. Which means, realistically, there's likely not going to be too much I can do here. And slot you in anyway. Gain some extra yield off that. And redraw. There we go. Okay, so we could continue into Shipwright's Yard here off that, which is excellent. Subterranean Archive. Please. Buried in the sand behind a storage space of an old inn is a ruin. Where'd I get an inn from? Buried in the sand behind a storage space of an old ruin is a chamber full of scrolls. Most appear to be from shortly before the shattering. A few fragments are much older, written in an unfamiliar script. It seems the historians were researching an even older civilization here. Translated fragments declare strange laws banning weapons of unclear nature. Redrawn maps show cities the size of a shard. The settlement scholars ponder what to do with this treasure trove. Again, the no requirement one, which is probably going to be a negative. Let the lead scholar decide. We're trying to keep harmony up for our quest. The lead scholar steps forward without asking. He lifts a wooden seal from among the scrolls and drops it into his sleeve. This will make a wonderful addition to my collection, he says. Whenever you add a glyph to your glyph deck, gain 20 knowledge yield. Every addition to the archive brings the thrill of new knowledge, and more paperwork. Now we continue here at least, in order to get our harmony back up to 0. A place where timber and sweat become vessels of voyage. Near Gehama, unloading beach. Okay, just common ones here. Ooh, expand. Yeah, expanders increases your hand size. Weak is an interesting one to add to your hand. An extension of that, because like weak will use itself then when you like you use old and this expands your hand one, but then weak will shrink your hand one at the end of the same turn. So in order to actually make use of this, you'll need to have a way to get rid of weak, which we don't readily do. I mean, up is just expand 1 without the downside here. Makes me wonder about the utility of old. We're probably going for evening, however. Yeah, spread connection, spirit essence. Okay, adventure and security. Whereabouts do I want to put you? Yeah, the small buildings are good for security, large building, only good for both of these. I can just squeeze in both of here. Ah yes, Assembly Hall into Adventurers Guild. Which we might actually be able to pull off here. And this is Guardhouse into Watchpost, or Tea House if I want an event and some harmony. Let's go Common Dining Hall. Nothing eases the labour of building a new home like a warm meal shared. And then I'm going to need the Assembly Hall into the Adventurers Guild. You have both the 2 connections here. Yeah, so we'll just run you. Ah yes, census. We've seen this event before. Conduct a census of the population. One settler brings a scroll to show they stewarded the land before, another proposes communal use, a third calls for precise allotments. So we cannot get the inheritance scroll this time round. But move on without making a decision, or share everything and let the census track balance. Yeah, share everything, let the census track balance. Wooden tags inscribed with parcel numbers and kept at the assembly hall. Anyone can take a tag to start a farm or dig a well. Progress will be audited at a regular schedule, and when tags run out, the assembly will decide which one should be returned to the pool, give others a chance to do something different with the land. That is quite nice. Reduce all 4A goals by 10%. This tiny tag once held 9 names. Someone added a 10th and no one objected. Yeah. Oh, this was I thought adventurers led on from Assembly Hall. I misread that. Yeah, we needed to go Adventurers Guild here. Oops. Well, we definitely need to get Guardhouse into Watchpost now. Yeah, you're not going to help. I guess we'll just... Yeah, I thought it went Assembly Hall into Adventurers Guild. I misread what the lines were doing there. And that lets me get that at least. And unfortunately, yeah, we cannot get Watchpost anymore. Not with no connection left. In our deck is nothing that will readily help, no. Unfortunate. At least we can try and get some bonus yield off this draw. Hilgio-Daira? Council Plane, after its assembly hall. Yeah, lost 8 inspiration there. And probably Sky, aye? Expand 2 and discard 1. If this is the last card in our hand, or it's the end of the hand, then we can use the expand comfortably without worrying about the discard. Yep. And it's both ones we're looking for with the Radiance and Stability. Where to explore from? Let's explore from out here. A secluded cove surrounded by cliffs opens out onto the vast sea. Although the open water is too dangerous to cross in tiny boats, the sheltered cove and its surrounding beaches could offer their own discoveries. Rest on the beach, explore the cliffs, row along the shore. Let's row along the shore. The surveyors get into their boats and let the current carry them along the shoreline. As they watch the cliffs drift by, they spot a nearly perfect hole cut into the stone, too regular to be natural. The inside of the hole appears to be covered in rusted, barnacle-clad metal. Knowledge and adventure. As the scouts are walking along the shore, they approach a huge cave. Waves crash unceasingly into the entrance, filling the main chamber with a layer of seawater. Old legends claim such caves used to be inhabited by many-headed dragons who ruled the seas. Okay, we have some interesting ones if we had Spirit, which we unfortunately don't. Yeah, I might just use... Yeah, our 1 Earth here. Get that. And then I'll use, I guess, one of our lives as the generic. Examine the main chamber. Scouts spread out, searching the main chamber. They quickly find an alcove carved into the wall. The inscription above it has long since eroded, but a relic still lies intact on a raised dais. The crystal twig, raises our maximum inspiration by 10. A brittle sprig that hums softly when held. Rest comes easier in its presence. So a chance of 1 of 5 relics. Yeah, so there'll be a little pool here, and the crystal twig is one of them. The surveyors have been travelling the desert for days, the sun beating down on their backs. One afternoon, a scout suddenly points into the distance and describes what she sees there, a beautiful oasis with glittering water and green trees. Her teammate shakes his head, disagreeing with her vision. He claims to see a tall, snow-white fortress surrounded by a moat instead. The group can't come to a consensus on what they are looking at, the shapes seeming to shift and shimmer in the sun. The only one we can do is investigate the dessert. I seem to remember this one. The team leader, who's been sharing their food too freely and are particularly hungry, becomes convinced the mirage assembles an enormous white mochi. It takes the effort of the entire team to convince her to give up on the idea to pursue the confection. The group spends the next few hours joking about desserts and imagining all the delicious foods awaiting them when they rejoin the expedition. Now, when I first played the demo, I did encounter this one and I legitimately missed the dessert there. I did think it just said desert, and I got a good old chuckle out of this one. Unfortunately, a bit spoiled for me by my previous playing. But I did not remember that was what it did. The 5 inspiration is very useful. The group comes from a part of the coast where tall cliffs rise above the sea. They could try walking along the narrow ledge at the bottom of the cliff, but they risk falling in and getting swept away by the waves. Okay, can't do any of them except the generic one, so we shall... I guess might as well get the blessing. More chance we'll get adventure off this. Yep. Still not immediately finding any of these. I can just... Oh, I could hug the cliff face using spirit here. This one has the requirement. Sure. The team presses flat against the rock and slowly shuffles across. Unfortunately, just as most of them reach the other side, one scout slips and falls into the sea. He's eventually rescued, but not before suffering minor injuries. Okay, yeah, gets us the wound card, so we'll despair 3, lose 3 of our inspiration. And end the survey. It all came out net positive after all that. Okay, beauty. This Plains River spot would be great for beauty. I might leave off till we get one that demands a bit higher though. Yeah, Scrubland, Seashore. Yeah, so beauty a bit late down the chain typically. I guess Indigo Shrub Patch is the earliest part on Scrubland, but lots of beauty on the seashore. And go Seaweed Farm into Coral Garden. Yeah, which would get me 15. The Shimmering Reef would get me a ton more if I managed to pull that. Would not be bad. Yeah, I'm going to need to get the wound out of our deck at the end of this, almost certainly, unless we get an incredible card offered to us. Yep, I will just focus on... Yeah, rather than use the expand, I'll just get the Coral Garden in. Using you. And you. You know what? If I use this... I could switch her out for an Earth. If I do switch her out for an Earth, I'll be going Bramble Hollow into Incense Workshop. Which I don't hate. We'll Conjure Ground, Bramble Hollow, and then I don't need you, so I can discard the wound and not have to suffer the loss. Yep, and pull you, which is excellent. You can go that slot on the Shimmering Reef. Yeah. So, a little bit of a tragedy here. I'm not going to be able to get both the Incense Workshop and the Rabbit Warren. However, I can get... Well, I mean, the Incense Workshop and the Shimmering Reef, but I can get the Rabbit Warren and the Shimmering Reef instead. Which we'll have to do. Drag you there. Drag you there. Turtles amble about and fish dart among the corals, eager to escape a plunging beak. That gets me some more of the harmony I was looking for. Rabbit Field. Usagabara. Unfortunately, quite a few good cards here, but I do think I am going to remove a glyph instead. Get rid of Wound. Okay, high safety. Couple of small buildings. Wasteland, scrubland. I think a couple of small buildings is what we're going to go for here. Guardhouse into Watchpost if I can. Should draw the connection. 73% chance, they reckon. That gets you. Now, Tea House. I would not mind the Tea House. I really do need to get that harmony score up. Yeah, we'll run the risk. Especially I can expand the hand size for Sky, so Tea House. The new tea house is complete, as doors open to the breeze. An old couple is serving tea to those moving on with the expedition. Let's focus on simplicity. The group sits quietly, comfortable and relaxed. No ritual takes place and no meal is served. Discussions of settling plans give way to shared memories and quoted poems. That is a good glyph, and yeah, the other option to also had this, a new customer has been established prompt, which means this should impact something else somewhere. Yeah, stability, life, connection, and then inspire 2 and satisfy 4 on the invocation. Well, I can use evening to duplicate tea. And then, yeah, let's go use one of you. That gets 4 points, so now this alone will be enough. I am going to risk getting the extra healing off this tea, rather than using the watch post, and then expand 2 off this. An 89% chance we get one of the cards we're looking for, we get it. Excellent. Yep, get you, and N4A. Patrol Field, Mimorino, after its guardhouse. Yep, and of course, only common ones. Radiance, Radiance, fill 1, spread. You know what? I did upgrade, so I get 1 reroll now. I'm going to use my reroll here. Huh. That's a better one. That gains us harmony too. That's very good for our current purposes, the invocation. We'll take together. Okay, high food. 32 food here. Hills are good for food. Don't have any other hills. I have some hills down here. Grubland is not, but yeah, I can't get hill and seashore here. There's river, plains. Sure, hill and scrubland just here. Yeah, because we have this rice terrace, and then like rice drying racks, or the tea terrace and the tea pavilion. Good food here. Good food. Also, the mulberry patch here, we do only have the 1 life available to us at the moment. I'll use you, get the bamboo grove. The wind hums through the stalks, gossiping with the leaves. And then, yep, thinking the rice terrace into the rice drying racks if I can manage that. Now, over here, I'm just going to hope I manage that. So I will grab the Bramble Hollow. And then let's see what's coming up on the draw. Okay, that is an Earth Radiance and also the Expand. I can live with that. We'll keep that. We shall draw off this. Yeah, and we don't have the highest chance to get another Radiance, so rather than use this as the expansion, I will just use this Radiance on the Dice Drying Racks. That's the craft we're looking for. One more stop before the grain meets the millstone, weather permitting. Yep. And then we can grab the rabbit warren as well. And the grumpy rabbit's image again. This is such a good piece of art. Look at these little guys. They're so angry. So, when we built a shrine to them, we got the rabbit card. If we just cancel the project completely, what happens? The architect decides to cancel the building project, afraid to disturb the burrows. The settlers complain, grumbling they've been reduced to taking orders from rabbits. Okay, we'll lose some productivity. Not the most impactful for us, that's fine. And we can use tea to get our last couple of points of inspiration. Merino, Withered Field, after its Bramble Hollow. Ooh, rare cards. So, Element is all 3 of the base essences and satisfies all 4. Farm, we could use the other craft here. Yeah, and then gain 15 food and fill a random essence slot in a development that produces food on the invocation. We'll take Farm. And we're up to the Convergence. Okay, so we have shortages of harmony, food, adventure, safety, and productivity. We produce all of these except adventure. Desert will give us an adventure capital. Unfortunately, small buildings mixed through the desert make it a bit difficult to actually stick the capital on a lot of these places. Just there should be fine. Just squeeze you there, yes. That'll leave me with the river and this bit of mountain open. Okay. We are definitely spreading connection. Connection is good and important. Yeah, and one of the other upgrades we got last time means I can now spend one of each of the 3 base essences to just get another connection essence into my hand, which will be good. Now let's just focus on connecting some of this stuff up. Yeah. So we'll connect you in. And now the capital has security and adventure. And we can get security over to here. And now that gets harmony in. And then we can use the harmony to connect this place up. Excellent. And then, yeah, we'll need 3 more connection. We want to connect everything. I reckon we're going to go for it. We're going to need a lot of craft, which is not viable for the last 2, and a couple of life, which we don't have access to, but we might be able to make use of. Put you there, you there. Use you to fill a random slot. Okay, one of the craft spots. Okay. You... Do I want to spend you? I do have 2 life, so I could fill both of those at the moment. And I do have the life here. That could gain me more harmony if I use you. I think we are going to use you there. Use the life there to get another connection card. Yeah. Okay, that got me person. I'll just stick you here. And I don't think we're actually going to use this last connection to fill this shortage here because we don't have food access to the settlement because we did not connect this one up. And what we really want is to get more harmony because we need to reach 150 for our goal. So we'll use you like that. I might as well slot you in there. This will carry over to the next conversions if I make it that far. I probably won't, but worth doing. And then we'll just lose 5 from this one shortage. Cool. And we get a relic. Better glyphs. Reduce hand size, but another redraw. Yeah, more glyphs to choose from on reward. We'll go the read case. Each scroll inside was chosen with care. If we're building the world again, let's build it well. And we can salvage glyph. I think we'll probably want to take one of our basic ones here. Maybe one of the... grab water or life, stand or earth. Let's just take stand apart, salvage that. Okay, food and safety. Small building, wasteland, scrubland. I really want a nice harmony one up here. I don't want to go for the temple on. That's all our options, yeah. Mountain, forest, canyon. Yep, not out there. Can't really build out towards the forest with this set, so... Yep, I think the scrubland, wasteland, small building, just in there. Yeah, so we can get plenty of food here. We can get the ruined outpost here for all of our safety need. I think we will do. Stick you there. We're going to need to be granary into noodle stall. And I want you to be that earth or this fire. We only need the one fire. We already have a fire here. Noodle stall. Conjure you into an earth. Could spread one of the better cards. I mean, no reason not to do that. So now what am I doing with these remaining ones? Yeah, so you can be a craft. You can be an earth here. I could just gain a bunch of food off this if I really wanted to. But no, I think I will grab the ruined outpost using 2 of these. Rumbling rampart. One of the old ramparts was too ramshackle to restore when the outpost was resettled, but now it's started to crumble piece by piece. Oh, we can only get the bad option. The stones shift underfoot, and each gust of wind brings a faint groan from the structure. If left alone, it will fall. We'll let it fall on our terms or its own. We're letting it fall on its own terms. Do nothing. The raw groan shivers and settles. Ouch. For a while, it still stands, but weeks later, during a windstorm, it collapses with a crack like thunder. No one is hurt, but some of the shelters lose their windbreak. We still netted 5 off that. Not as much as we could have wished for. You know what? Just looking at the remainder here, I'm just going to use this tea to inspire to satisfy 4. Yeah. Redraw hand. We can continue to complete the fermentation lodge. Bad. We could also grab the mulberry patch to get the rest of our food. We'll do the fermentation lodge. Mountain, here. Continue. Okay. And let's just fill one of these. See what we get. Bramble Hollow. That's nice. We can grab a rabbit warren off that too. Most of the way to the harmony yield we need. And foray. Hanazuka, Leaping Mound. After its rabbit warren. Ooh. Okay, so if I use you to bless, we also get a change card. Yeah, Bellow is good. We're taking Bellow. Knowledge, adventure, and food. I reckon we do need to go for our mountain stuff now. I'm trying to remember. I do think the mountain monastery gives knowledge. Yeah, so we'll build down here. Mountain, plains, river. Yeah, the Ember Monastery. That's the building we're looking for our quest. And yeah, this is a good line for our current resource needs. Grab the Smoldering Crater. And I could just spread that, but I would just use this as a spirit essence, so no real point in doing that. Let's use you. Grab you. Oh, now we just need a tiny bit more harmony. The buckwheat field is probably the way to go over on this side. No, we do need knowledge out of this. We're looking like Pilgrim's Rest into Storyteller's Camp here. Means we're looking at the water reel into the rice polishing mill or oil press over on this side. Tragically, this would be a good time to be able to use the invocation on this, but that would lock in the buckwheat field because that's the only food slot this could enter, which would then prevent me from getting the knowledge. Yeah, so you must be Pilgrim's Rest or Water Wheel. If I go Water Wheel, I could put the life into the oil press here and now. If I go Pilgrim's Rest, I could, yeah, not get the knowledge I'm looking for because I need Radiance. So you go Water Wheel. You go onto the oil press. And I don't really want to go for the Dragon's Rest, I don't think. So we will instead just gain the Harmony and Inspire too. And that's all our requirements met. That got us past. We're ready to dedicate the great statue. As the scripture tells us, when it reunites the shards, the Enlightened will walk among us, and all will be restored. Once the expedition is finished, we shall begin the ritual. Objective completed. Very happy to see that. Now, let's see. I do have the craft. I don't have any stability. Real shame that, except on the same as the craft. Not what I would have wanted to see. Yeah, Bellow's the only card we have useful. If I use that, you just get me a change. Which is probably not the one I'm looking for. I mean, we're going to survive this little expedition here. That'll be a 10 swap. Yeah, let's just use you for the craft essence on the oil press. Single drop of oil carries 100 days of sunshine into the pan. And I could get some more food out of here. Only if I use my additional drawer. Let's see what is on top of the deck. Radiance. Does have a random fill on it. Good chance that just goes into the Dragon's Rest, though, if I use that for the fill. So we'll just discard you. You can... I don't have the best use for either of these, so we'll just discard one of them, draw something else. Okay, yeah. Just a change essence, so we'll get a little bit more food in with the buckwheat field. And we can gain 5 beauty off this. Akamine, Red Peak, after its smouldering crater. Yeah, we're starting to get the good cards now. I do probably want to discard out the bad cards, though. Like life or flower. Yep, just get rid of you. Knowledge and productivity. Finish up, keep going. We'll go one more foray. Gonna press ourselves to try and get one more done. Desert, mountains, wasteland. Yep. Yeah, so this would be some knowledge. If I go lava-fed forges, that will also be productivity on this one. We're definitely going salt flats over here on the wasteland. Underground storehouse into subterranean archive would be pretty bloody good over here. Yeah, underground storehouse. Salt flats, yes, we can bless and conjure off Bellow in order to get this, which is perfect. I should have blessed beforehand. Would already be on 16 since that would have doubled our productivity yield, but that's okay. Salt flat. I almost certainly want to go for the iron wreck here. We'll go the storm chaser camp just for the 10, but I mean, this tackles both. Needs 2 cards. I am going to be out of a lot of essences if I do this. What I can do maybe is farm onto that. Get you here. Then spread this, and then that gives me 2 continues, which will get both the Iron Wreck and the Subterranean Archive. Excellent. And reach your hand. Okay, Winding Pathways. I can get the Sky Ropeways, which is an event. Oh no, I cannot. I need a stability. Tragic. Could do the Endless Ruin. We're going to finish up here. Probably might as well. There's a tiny chance you get me the Winding Pathways. Let's use you. Nope. Got me that instead. Sure, so you just go there. Might as well grab the snow-capped peak here. Mountain wears a crown of ice, watering the valleys with its melting jewels. And heal a little bit off that. Buragane Hara, Iron Plain, after its Iron Wreck. Bathe, Fate. A target harmony, spread spirit. You conjure water. Interesting, interesting. Let's just go with Bathe for the moment. Yeah, we're now up to Regional Survey, and then I'll just do the survey and then finish up this expedition. Head out this way. Okay, the Hapless Carter. We've seen this one before. The cart is stuck, unable to go further ahead. Now, this gets us the cartwheel and lose 6 inspiration. Other options, carry the cart, take the settler along, leave them alone. I suspect leave them alone is probably a bad outcome. Let's see how bad it is. Survey team, yep, big harmony loss. Luckily, even though we're under the 150 now, we've already met the quest requirements. It doesn't matter if we drop, so. The survey team bows an apology and carries on, certain that their mission is too important to stop and help bystanders. As the survey team is walking through an ancient overgrown road, they spot a figure on the horizon. A man wearing a basket as a hat introduces himself as a monk of emptiness. Again, offering, we get the flute card. Ask about the order, invite along. Let's ask about the order. The man explains that theirs is not an order that follows the enlightened one, but one that seeks enlightenment in meditating on the void which they believe is the true nature of self. In pursuit of this goal, they cover their heads to dull their senses, play haunting music on the flute to block out sounds, and travel unexplored shards to escape human contact. Nothing is a pretty good card. It's essentially, yeah, draw one and definitely draw one spirit. It always at least gets you something despite being named nothing. One of the scouts had accidentally torn the strap of her sandal and, out of embarrassment, tried to hide it. Now she's limping and slowing the pace of the group. He is frustrated that the scout hid the problem, while the scout is defensive about not wanting to be seen as a burden. Act 8. Yeah, it depicts Act 8 from the Tale of 47 Ronin. And this is one of the older pieces of art here. There are some from the 1700s. This is first half of the 1800s as a piece. I was really quite taken by like the leaves creeping around the tree trunk here. Very pretty. Okay, so we cannot readily fill any of these. Let's use our draw. Okay, this will help. We can use an ointment now at least. We could also take turns with the bad sandal. Let's take turns with the bad sandal. The group decides to take turns walking without sandals, so the pain is distributed more evenly. Though the injured scout is still limping, at least she's no longer ashamed. Restores 5 inspiration. Okay. A thieving wind. A fierce gust of wind sweeps across the field, bending the long grasses wildly. Suddenly, the survey team's logs and maps fly from the notekeeper's satchel and scatter into the sky. Loose pages tumble through the air, chasing a scout's lost hat. This is another fun piece of art. Ajiri in Suruga province. And just kind of describes essentially what is just people being blown about with the wind, papers streaming away. Yeah, this is another lovely piece. Chase the papers, follow the wind, follow the hat. I mean, let's just do this all on the first hand. Let's follow the wind. The group decides not to chase each paper individually, but to follow the direction the wind is blowing. Their restraint is rewarded when they reach a line of bushes whose branches have gathered most of the pages. I guess I'll get the tiny bit of yield. And survey. No, we will. We will finish the expedition here rather than press on. Keep the story moving forwards. Yep, 33 bonus insight for returning early. Onogorojima, the Enlightened One's abode. Yep, bunch of new stuff discovered.
We built shrines and chanted ancient prayers. We called your name, certain that faith would mend the world. But the earth did not stir, nor the clouds break. The world stayed in pieces, and our faith wavered. If prayer could not restore what was lost, then surely, O Enlightened One, you could command greater powers. Had we not survived by your hand? Begged for a blessing, but in our hearts, we demanded action. You met our anger, not with silence, but with new words and secret signs. We cast aside quiet faith. With you to guide us, we would force the world to heal, whether it wished it or not.
This is another fun piece. The colors, the shapes. Dancing for the Sun Goddess. Ah, yep. I know this myth. Yeah, attempt to lure Amaterasu out of the cave she's hiding in. Yeah, dancing out the front. Oh, this is a very nice kind of shapes, the bright colors, the lines. O Enlightened One, I prayed and you were silent. You promised to walk among us, yet we are still alone. But I understand now. You've already given us everything we needed in the sacred glyphs. You were telling us to use your power to prepare, not just wait. Well, use it we will. Forgive me. No more will I merely pray. From this day on, I will act. Listen well. The glyphs were instructions. We, fools, mistook them for promises, but they are tools. Tools we will use to focus the Enlightened One's power emanating through the great statue. Each stroke touches a part of the world. It was all in the old scrolls. Air, earth, fire, everything will obey our commands if we direct the energies right. The Enlightened One's energies? No, the energies of the world. They saturate the shards themselves, flowing with the rivers and knotting in old trees. When we tap into them with the right glyphs, they come to life. That is what makes our actions auspicious. But how do we know the rules? The teachings give us the tools, but we must experiment if we are to wield them. We'll find the veins where the world's pulse is strongest, and we will strike. You preach as if you're sure, but what do we really know about these powers? What if they aren't so harmless? We have no time to wait. Every day the shards spread further apart. Inaction has failed us once, and I won't let it happen again. In that case, I'll write down what we find. If your plan fails, we'll need those lessons. Very well. Stay in your archive. When you are ready to record the laws of the world, I will have carved them into the earth. At least our foolishness will be well documented. New quest, Places of Power. Yeah, so find a field of endless blossoms in the plain, a procession of ghostly lanterns at the seashore, and an ancient glade in the forest. And in the forest we'll need 100 knowledge or 100 adventure to achieve some outcomes. Now I think we can do these over multiple shards. We don't need to do them all at once. Let's find the veins where the world's pulse is strongest and harness their power. Finding veins of power. That's what I call an adventure. We must be careful with powers we don't yet understand. And we have gained access to the museum, which is essentially a big archive, a log of everything we've discovered so far. So there is still one type of site we have not found yet. What would it be? We've got the canyon. Oh, we've never built... Yeah, stepland. We've seen plenty of stepland, it's just the yellow grass locations. We've never actually built a site on it so far. Well, that's one of the base train types. Yeah, everything else we built at least one town there and got some discoveries, even if some aren't particularly filled out yet. You can see all the relics we found. And there are a lot of relics in the game. The events, all the encounters, landmarks have not shown up yet. Along with, oh yes, records of, yeah, all the various cutscenes and stuff we've seen. Peer out, yes, new shard history. So over in the tight-knit community of Irajima, when the great storms rolled into Mayuribuchi, everyone thought that without a central treasury to fund repairs, it was going to be the end of their township. Instead, days after the storms passed, visitors from all over the shard started trickling in. Thatchers and masons from nearby towns arrived offering their services and unsolicited advice for free. Caravans from far-off towns brought timber and rope. Recovery took time, but Mayor Ibushi stands to this day, and in many ways safer and richer than when the disaster struck. And the Enlightened One's abode, place we just founded. Onogorojima has the honor of hosting the grand statue through which the Enlightened One's blessing flows into the new world. The town with the statue, Akamine, is entirely dedicated to its care and maintenance, with all but a few of the residents being monks. Other towns have a few more lay residents. Since Onogorojima is the center of the monastic order, much of the infrastructure is dedicated to supporting the monks and helping pilgrims reach Akamine safely. Okay, and we can see what our next story-related shard culture will be, which is the Fox Spirit's Domain. And this one is off the Fox Haunted Tree event, which is, yeah, the one associated with the forest, I'm pretty sure. We can do the plains and the ghost lanterns without a culture, but if we do the forest, we will get this culture. With that in mind, because we might not be doing the forest immediately, I think I might want to pin one of these as our other quest. If you pin a shard culture onto your quest menu, then the shards that spawn should guarantee it's theoretically possible to complete that culture. Like, for example, if you do the Dwellers of the Rolls, you won't get a culture with no mountains or canyons on it. And let's go on the later ones, since these tend to more specific requirements. Migratory Circuit. All settlements connected. That might actually be a bit difficult to do immediately. Low harmony and no connections for the fractured states. You know what, let's go the Yarn Spinners. We have a long list of specific developments we'll need to get for this one. In Scrubland, Small Building, Lake, and River. Lakes are rare ones. That would be nice in order to force lakes to actually spawn. Now we have 229 insight to spend. In our new skills, the Verse Arena. Yeah, a landmark available in town squares, which lets me use beauty to heal inspiration. The Mirage Gate landmark in deserts allows me to use adventure to acquire rare glyphs. Another reroll on our rewards. Communal Bath landmark in town squares lets me use productivity to remove glyphs. Yeah, another 4A gold reroll. Another signature glyph. It allows me to replace starting glyphs with other basic common glyphs. That'll be nice. It's very expensive though. The Endless Ruin landmark lets us use safety to get relics. The Post Road lets us use harmony to connect settlements. That's also quite nice. Guaranteed events lets me guarantee an event will occur if it can. Let's grab some cheap ones, old ones, rather than new stuff. Replan. Glyph reward. Honestly, what we really want is probably actually just this redrawn glyphs. Yeah. Draw one more glyph after redrawing. We'll grab that. Do preview yields. More max inspiration. Let's just grab some more max inspiration too. Let's go. Another expedition. Ooh. That's rough. Yeah, the yarn spinners might not be happening. We have 2 lake developments needed, and it did indeed give us 2 lakes on the exact opposite end to our starting location. We can try and make progress towards some of these. Maybe we could even do the forest one if I get 100 knowledge and 100 adventure. Textile watermill. Yeah. Silkweaver's hut and the scrubland weaving house and the small building. Okay, let's just start pushing towards those lakes. Get the Silkweaver's hut. Maybe not a knowledge one. Smoldering Crater Ember Mountain is 2 quests immediately. Yeah, and the vent, the Fire Mountain. The May Grant. Various stuff. See, what did we need? Okay, so we could get, the non-bad one. We do meet the requirements for that, so I don't feel too bad immediately jumping into you. Yep, volcanic eruption. Everyone tries to flee, but volunteers spring up from amongst the villagers. A group of strong youngsters claim they'll be best able to help. A group of seniors saying they've already had long lives should be the ones to take the risk. Let's let the elders mount the rescue. The elders' argument prevails. Volunteers wrap wet scarves around their mouths, gather torches from the shrine, and fell trees to create a makeshift bridge. They cross carefully, calling out to villagers on the other side, their voices lost in the roaring cataclysm. When the smoke clears, all of the stranded villagers are accounted for, but several of the elders are nowhere to be found. Yeah, a little bit of restored inspiration off that one. Yeah, so that's just a good outcome. And on the scale of outcomes where a bunch of people die, we really need life essence, which we are not readily getting. Let's just fill one somewhere. Oh, it even went on the right one, the mulberry patch. Excellent. Vine. And I really want Ember Monastery, so use you in there. I really hope we draw. Yep, something appropriate. We did. Ember Monastery. The path to the Ember Monastery is a long one, and the final approach requires more than just walking. This last stretch is made of old fossils glowing with heat. A solemn nun is standing on one of the glowing stones. She explains that visitors are invited to steel their resolve and make their own choice for how to traverse the path. So we can only choose to step away from the coals, which has no effect, so at least we're not going to get something bad here. 2 spirit, 4 stability, or 3 craft for the others. Yeah, another pretty view over the cliff. We'll just step away for the moment. The nun bows. Another time, she says. Silkweaver's hut gets one of our little quest objectives done, at least. Grab you. Don't think there's anything else to draw. Nah. Kusumu Gibara, Hongi Plain, after Silkweaver's hut. Okay, that's nice. So same, adds equal to the top of our deck. Oh, equal's a pretty good card too. Level would let us continue. We'll grab the same. Beauty and harmony. Weaver's house, cluster station. Small building. Weaver's house. Yeah, that is granary into workshop. It does give beauty. Does, however, take 2 crafts, so we can't readily do that. Textile watermill. I mean, this river's quite long, so I'll grab another one on the river. Just get a better idea of everything it gives. I don't think we're making, like, the actual quest requirement off this. Okay, so textile watermill. That does give beauty. It does give beauty. But weeping willows into crane nesting grounds is, well, no life again. Ooh. That is painful. Wait. And yeah, this, I really need to get to that ability that lets me redraw stuff. Like, none of this is good. I got all my change essence immediately. I guess, unlike to use you, what's on the top? Stability. Stability and connection. I wouldn't mind the connection. Later on, we'll keep that on top. And what we're going to do is draw that and then use this to add equal. Equal will be a little bit more useful, hopefully. Yeah, but none of this I can readily use. We just redraw hand and have to do this off the second hand. There is all of our life essence. Okay, Weeping Willow. And Cactus Forest. And you can be a camel grazing spot. Do I want to just split this? And sure, we'll just use this first of all. So this will split into stability connection and, yep, fill in one spot associated with a harmony location. Crane nesting grounds. Camel grazing spot. And I'll gain off both of you. Senenbara, Hermit Plain. Discard conjure 2 random. 2 random glyphs based off the current rarity tier. Accept. Equal is just a really good card. Oh, I'll put one in my hand as well as have one in my deck as well as a way to call one in. Beauty and adventure. Let's see how to handle you. Beauty and adventure? I mean, another river desert one. No, we'll just keep working our way up here. Rice polishing mill. Soggy mill. Floating lantern festival. Textile watermill is kind of what I would like to have the excuse to go for here. Get that objective met. We'll try and pull it off. Water wheel. The textile watermill. Use you will add equal to the top of the deck. Would not be bad. Cactus forest up here, probably. Camel grazing spot. The Mirage Gate might be better for us. Get both of you. Yeah, we'll go underground storehouse. If I just use this here, I can then continue that in order to get the textile watermill. Then, do I get the Mirage Gate? I do not. That is bad. Yeah, that's rough. Not drawing useful things. I don't think there's anything I can do here. Quite annoying. Uzumiru, buried hall, after its underground storehouse. Yeah, I'll take measure here, I think. Gain 5 knowledge, adapt 1. Both craft and radiance. Now let's head out towards one of these lakes if we can. Ah, the odd rock. We've seen this one before. We can gain knowledge. We could dig it up if we had 2 craft. Rubbings with the carving, can't readily do that. I guess we'll just gain the bit of knowledge off this. Well, let's split you. Use that one. The hidden recess. The day's trek has exhausted the survey team. As they stop by a swift waterfall to refill their water, a scout notices a dark recess behind the waterfall. The curtain of water may be concealing a cave, but reaching it would require crossing the slippery rocks. Walk on the stones, look for another entrance. Let's try walking on the stones. Yep. Bad outcome. Ooh, foolish. Lose knowledge. Several scouts attempt to approach the waterfall, and stepping carefully onto the stones. The result is chaos. One scout loses both her footing and her pack to the rushing water. Another topples face first into the stream, thrashing wildly until his teammate pulls him out. The group quickly realizes the folly of this approach. The team comes up to a jagged cliff. On its ledges are dozens of little statues, their features worn smooth by time. Most of the scouts agree that this part of the cliff face is by far the easiest to climb, but one objects, afraid to disturb the spirits that surely inhabit these statues. Send a scout to secure a rope. Yep, one man forward. To minimize the chance of damaging the statues, the team sends only one person up, equipped with a long rope. Once at the top, she ties the rope to a boulder and dangles it down, letting the rest of the team climb up safely. Okay, and this monk again. I mean, we'll invite him along. That's kind of the one outcome we haven't seen yet. Scouts offer to take the man along, as solitary travel on a wild shard is bound to be dangerous. The man refuses, takes out a flute and invites everyone to meditate with him on emptiness. The tune he plays is haunting and loud, but also strangely beautiful. Now we have a 1 in 3 chance. We'll discard Foolish, and we did. Excellent. Only that does not activate on us. Yep, gain a little bit more yield. Oh, push further out. Weaving house, and then just the 2 lake spots. I might be able to do that lake. Not going to get the security off that though. Small building, town square. Yeah, just here. I'll push further in this direction off it. Guardhouse, tea house, public well into communal baths, festival grounds. We don't have the life essence, unfortunately. Craft and radiance. I don't think we're really going to need, so I will just use you to adapt 1 in. Okay, that gets me the life essence I needed. So we shall go public well here. A hole in the ground becomes the core of the town once water starts seeping in. We can just go you and you. That meets all our requirements. So I could then grab the event here on the tea house. See what else this event can grant us. Yeah, so we could grab the tea glyph and establish a custom. We can get some food and establish a custom. Let's arrange it beautifully. The mats are realigned perfectly. Petals are gathered and arranged on the low table. Cups are placed carefully on folded cloth. Few dare to speak, afraid of interrupting the host's immaculate little ritual. Gets this bit of beauty and a custom. I'll just grab some more yield off yield cards and end the foray. Hello, Acerwin folks. How are you doing this fine day? Thank you very much for the raid. Then was named Himuchi, Hot Water Town, after its communal baths. Yeah, we're definitely discarding a card rather than grabbing one of these, I do think. You still playing against the storm, Isu? Making progress there? Yep. Get rid of Foolish, please. Okay, productivity and knowledge. This productivity means this could be a good time to go for lake over here. Yeah, lake and step. Don't really have much of an option if I want to cover it. Ooh, auction included. Oni's fun. I am white. Not very good, I suppose, on the bandit Oni. I tend to get a little bit and then kind of end up losing focus, and some it just kind of stagnates before I achieve very much. But I always enjoy my time. Oni's fun. Real good. Yeah, so we wanted to go cloth rinsing station down there. We did. And the other option is the Master Dyer's Workshop. Yeah, so they're both off this. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Base game. I pretty much, when I play, I really only play Spaced Out. Spaced Out is, I do like setting up little colonies kind of quite swiftly using the teleporter and stuff to get the second one set up and on to the third planet as soon as you can. So the only stability we have here is same. If I use you, we're not getting the spread, which is quite unfortunate. You would put Toil on top of the deck. See, the chance of drawing the Radiance is not the highest. Yeah, I think we're going to go Temperetting Station. And then we'll use you here, get the Indigo Fermentation Beds. You two. And we'll try for the Master Dyer's Workshop. I'll use you in the Craft slot rather than the Radiance slot. And we hope we draw our other Radiance. And now this side we are going to be short on knowledge after all this. We're going to go for the Thistle Fields and Ant Colony if we can. We did get the Radiance we were looking for, that's nice. Master Dyer's Workshop, please. Another part of the crest down, and a new event, the Tapestry. The dyes from this workshop come out richer than any the locals have seen before. Inspired by them, a young apprentice wants to turn her humble tapestry project into a masterpiece. A great landscape depicting the whole lake and its surroundings. Deep blue giving way to warm tans and lively greens, dotted with bright splashes of pink. Her mentor advocates restraint, as cloths and dyes are both precious. Save the dyes for more practical work. Seems like it might be a bad outcome. Carefully prepare the cloth for future projects. Finish the tapestry. Hang the unfinished tapestry as it is. Let's go for the force stability. Carefully prepare the cloth for future projects. The apprentice meticulously gathers remnants, spindles, and half-finished bolts. No grand tapestry is made, but nothing is wasted. Perhaps one day these fragments will serve as canvas for an even more impressive project. Okay, Relic. Reduces hand size by 2, but increases it by 1 for every 8 glyphs in our glyph deck. More threads, the larger the cloth. Yeah, so at the moment, we do still have a decrease off that. Yeah, we only have And I'm trying to think. No, because this is discards, this is still on draw, so that's not including this. So we actually have 17, so we are breaking even at the moment. No impact off the Weaver's Comb. If we add more cards, we'll eventually get an increased hand size, which is nice. Now, can I get you? Use down to get that. I'm definitely not getting an Avian Crossroads. For all this, I don't have the life. I have a very low chance to actually draw it, only 20%. So we're just going for the ant colony. "10,000 tiny workers, perfectly organized. If only people were this reliable." We are shedding inspiration so far this game, we really are. Somi, die well, after its master dies workshop. Time for another discard, you think? Step 1 adds 2 water? Not the best adding just low quality cards in. Discard 1, draw 1 on cart. And 5 there. Alright, feel like you, so let us just discard Mountain out of our deck. Productivity and safety. Weaving house in the small building. Productivity. Sure, we'll just go small building, just to here. Yeah, so do guardhouse one of these, weaving house on the other. No events on either of the appropriate lines. Again, no earth. Used with same. Real tragic. I probably do want equal on top of the deck anyway, just because equal is a very, very good card. So you can go granary into workshop. Just there. Weaving house. And I can stick that on top and then just draw it with wind. Oh no, I cannot split this, can I? Because that will hit the tea house and I need the guard. That's bugger. Redraw. Just have to hope. Okay, that works. That works. Yeah. Like so. Just use you there. We only lose 1 inspiration here now. Utomakia, Spoolfield, after its weaving house. Okay, honey. Not bad. Adds bear to the top of your deck, which is cute. Bear is a blessing with some safety on it. Turtle is also a pretty good card. Let's take Turtle. Up to the convergence. We have a lack of knowledge sources, lack of food, yeah, a bunch of stuff we're going to have difficulty making up with connections. Scrubland will give knowledge. Steppe will give production. Forest will give production. Seashore will give beauty, which we definitely don't need. Small building will give food. Yeah, I think we want to go knowledge here. Just stick you. I don't want to push out towards this lake over here. I don't think that will really be doable, not if I want a knowledge capital. So, yeah, I guess we'll just slap you down here in this corner. Yep, knowledge, start convergence. Yep, we can split you. And we'll want to do the same with this one, so we'll get that Already there. Actually, you know what I should have done? Should have done that the other way round so you would have spread the equal. Oh well. Oh well, oh well. Can at very least get some of these little knowledge sites connected up because we're not fulfilling those with Radiance ones, so I might just do you with the 2 change we have in our hand. Okay, you can go there. You can go there. That will get change and craft on top of our deck, which I don't particularly think we need. Redraw. Okay, okay. We want to connect you up. Yeah, no way to get food in, unfortunately. Unfortunately, if I use you here, adapt off this, yeah, that gets me another life. Lets me meet that one. This lets me, yeah, connect in this. Oh, but you're not supplying harmony, are you? So that does not work. Yeah, we cannot meet the requirements here. I would need to connect this place in order to do this. Let's just fill one at random. Yeah, incorrect location. Oh well. Might as well split you. Oh, but now I can use that. Yeah, and that gets the harmony across. You live there. And nothing I can do with this last one. Yep, so we just lose 5 off the convergence. Select a relic. More inspiration might be the way to go. Could just increase the hand size with the field scroll. Reduce hand size by 2, but increase the number of times you draw by 1. Let's get some more inspiration. Oh, salvage glyph. What would I want to salvage? A basic little connection one? Honestly, yeah, I think I might just salvage join. Knowledge and harmony. Need to try and push down towards this lake. Ghostly lanterns on the seashore. We don't have planes for the endless blossoms. Yep. Build down here. Scrubland, seashore, step. Yeah, there's the ghost lanterns, which are one of our objectives. Probably we're looking at like Whale Caller Shrine if I can manage to get down to there. Shipping warehouse. I'm trying to see where this would go. This would, yeah, either do Bramble Hollow, shipping warehouse, or bonded rocks. We definitely want it to do not the shipping warehouse. So we'll grab you. Yep, the unequal rocks event again. Lose harmony, which is not the outcome we want. We could grab the together glyph. Let the mason resolve it, let the scribe resolve it. Let's let the scribe resolve it. The scribe drafts some documents and holds a small ceremony in front of the rocks. Henceforth, he declares, these rocks be called the mother and child. Elegant. And gets us the parent. Yeah, and then parent can become child, which is nice. Good glyph. Good glyph. Yeah, and now we... Let's see, there'll be a harmony and knowledge. We probably want to do the mulberry patch in here. And if I stick one of these in, one of these. And I'm definitely going to need some more stuff, so we'll just go in there. Now we split you. That's the only spot that produced harmony, so that had to be filled. That gets the driftwood shawl. Whalecaller Shrine would be even more knowledge. So you can slot in there. Yeah, so you could conjure child for me, but I think I just want to use you for the nature at this point. Paper Mulberry Grove. Also want to use you for your nature. It's all good. Other stuff here. Go for the paper studio as well over here. Do that. And no use for answer. Okay, we can do both of those, which is nice. We'll just immediately, jump to that. And now we can do whatever we want over here on the step. Thistle fields, ant colonies, painted pillars, which just have basic ones. So painted pillars into wind chimes. Simple devices to turn wind into music, somehow always in tune. Yorikihama, Driftwood Beach, after its Driftwood Shoal. Yeah, I will take reality. We are very short on spirit essence at the moment. Okay. Knowledge, adventure, and productivity. Yeah, forest, seashore, step. Let's go here. Now, I don't want to do the Fox Haunted Tree event if I can avoid it, because we have neither 100 knowledge or 100 adventure. Yes, not the Eternal Glade. The Verdant Labyrinth would be the one we want to go for up here, possibly anyway. Clay Pits would be an easy way to get the productivity we needed. Ghost Lanterns. Kind of want more knowledge though too. The shipping warehouse, I think, over here, but we cannot because we just drew all of this stuff. I mean, let's see if we can get the Verdant Labyrinth. Wildlife Sanctuary. This will get us the fire if I use Parent. I think I will use Parent for that. In order to grab, the shipping warehouse. And the shipwright's yard is probably how we want to go here rather than the lighthouse. Ooh, good source of knowledge though. Yeah, Navigation Guild. So we will use that on the lighthouse. And no ready place to use this. We'll just use it to gain some beauty. Redraw hand. Okay, the connection. You'll hit harmony if you can. We're not that interested in harmony, but I wouldn't mind having you split, and it does not harm you to target harmony at the moment. Verdant Labyrinth. Navigation Guild. Navigation Guild is more useful to us. Yep, you just go there. All done. Oh, I should have blessed knowledge. I did not realize I had reality in my hand. I'm not used to that yet. That would have gotten us all the knowledge we needed if I did that. But alas, was not to be. Usually there at least. Clay pits. Going to pottery kiln as well. Yeah, made a mistake in my sequencing there. That'll cost us some inspiration. That's okay, and that gets us some new stuff discovered, or those we had not really built previously. Rinokushi, Forest Glade, after its forest. Satisfy 4 and conjure water on fountain. Manure, we've seen this card before, that blesses food. Quiet. Interesting. Let's go fountain. Harmony, productivity, and knowledge. Harmony, productivity, and knowledge. Almost all of our settlements are producing beauty or productivity here. We're very short on other resources. If I were to get that lake, we would need the cloth rinsing station. Let's go for it. Forest Lake, Rocky Cliff. Oh, we'll cover the cliff too. Forest Lake, Rocky Cliff. Yeah, so on the lake cloth rinsing station, yes, to get the new culture. Which is going to be the earth. Could bless knowledge. Bless knowledge might help here, like a hermit's hut that has been blessed with knowledge will get us all of the knowledge we need. We're going to be completely fine on productivity on this side. And we're just looking at harmony, like bird nest cliff into singing cascade. I do that and hermit's hut. We're also fine on life, so I might not use the blessing here. We'll hold on to that. We'll use... Sure, put on top. Split that. Done. Good. Now, I wouldn't mind splitting these, but these are going to hit harmony stuff preferentially, and I need to get you in first before we start splitting because of that. Now this is okay. Target and split. Cool. That is a decent outcome. And we want the hidden shrines. We can do the same thing here again. Oh, climbing trail. I missed that one, actually. That's okay, though. Right, did no harm, and we did want the split. You go... Indigo fermentation. Yeah, you go... No, cloth rinsing station. Cloth rinsing station. Yes. Both of you. One of you go in. Fountain, we do want you for the fire rather than the life, so we just use you there. Cool. Dyed fabrics flutter beneath the water, giving the fish something to wonder at. Okay, and then... Yeah, ideally we probably do want to go Singing Cascade here. Want to go Hidden Shrine. To Hermit's Hut. The lone recluse has built a hut here to care for this ancient shrine and read prophecies into bird calls. And I don't think we have use for any of this, really. I mean, that would guarantee the change if I use you. We do want that, yeah. So I'll use craft, get a change card on top of my deck. Okay. Now, we did not get the spirit essence we were looking for. I do have a continue. Get the Forest Monastery off that. In Forest Monastery... Yeah, I'm just going to be a little bit short of various things at the moment. Split and target, climbing trial into the stairs. You know what? Actually, yeah, let's split equal. Okay, that gets that one. And we can continue with turtle. Or to finish either of these. Or with the harmony, because we can get some... Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think we really have a way in order to get the spirit in, is the problem. So instead going for the skybound stair here now. Oh, which again is also going to be a problem. We can conjure you. Okay, we use the parent. Get change essence. And we use you here. Then we continue here. Turns out the plural of recluse is monastery. These folks had left the divine text behind and meditate instead on the never-ending rustle of the leaves. Yeah, and then we can get the skybound stair here to get one more point in. Yushu and N4A. Ikobayashi. Restful woods after its hermit's hut. Fate or alone? Inspires 6 but conjures isolate. Let's see, is there a way to... Yeah, and then isolate in turn gives madness. Huh. That's a sequence of cards. And just looking at that, it's like you would gain 6. In return, you gain a spirit which you have to use. Or else things start happening. Whereas on this side... Exactly the same, but much simpler effects. Just target, harmony, spread spirit. Well, let's grab alone. Try and make use of it. Now we can explore out one way or the other. Okay, let's go down into the marshes to the south here. Deep in the forest, the survey team finds an ancient bell tower. Bronze bell still hanging at the top. On closer inspection, the scouts realize that the bell is barely attached and may soon fall. Ring the bell, detach the bell, study the bell. And let's try ringing the bell. The scout hits the bell with a staff and watches the forest explodes with birds. Even after the bell falls silent, rustling can be heard from every direction as animals hurry to flee the frightening sound. Choose an animal glyph. Butterfly, insect, shell. Butterfly, okay, conjures foolish. I mean, I'll take butterfly. The scouts find themselves under a sunset sky full of pink clouds. A tranquil ray spreads before their eyes. 2 of the surveyors get into a small boat and row towards a tiny pine-covered tidal islet, where a weathered gate stands solemnly in the cooling sand. As they draw near, they notice a small wooden box hiding among the roots. This is another nice artwork, bit of a later one, 1922. Leave an offering, smash the box open. Dig the box out. We don't have the craft in order to do that. Let's just split these. We'll try leaving an offering. The surveyors dock their boat and walk onto the islet, their feet sinking into the sand. They approach the gate. The woody fragrance of fresh pine fills their nostrils. The scouts leave a bowl of dried fruit behind the gate, content with the knowledge they paid their respects to the local spirits. Spend some food, gain some inspiration. The team find themselves standing in a clearing dominated by the biggest tree they've ever seen. Yeah, we've seen this one before. Set up camp under the tree, you get some more inspiration. Climbing the tree seems like a bad idea. Let's do it. A particularly adventurous scout climbs to the top of the tree. Yep, just as he's about to come down, his foot slips and he comes crashing down. He passes several branches before he manages to gain purchase and climb down the rest of the way. He arrives on the ground with no serious injuries, but covered in scratches, with clothes full of sap. Yep, adds wound to our deck. Okay, wild fruits. So food gain or safety loss if we try the fruit. Gain 30 fruit there. Inspire 4. I think I'm probably fine losing a bit of knowledge, so I will use butterfly. Just like that. And then I think we're going to try and redraw to find a radiance. So I can see what this last option does. There we go. You know what I might do though? Let's also use Alone. Get 6. Now that adds Isolate to our hand, but then we spend Isolate, we're just dumping it into a spare slot. Excellent. So the scouts search the area and find several gnawed upon roots. Choose to be safe, but the taste does leave much to be desired. Okay, get a food glyph. Less food. Less beauty. Adds bloom to the top. Bloom's a nice card. That conjures more stuff. What do you conjure? And that itself can conjure flower. We'll add lotus to the deck. Okay, so we're looking for beauty and knowledge. Let's just sit down here and try to go for that seashore. Like, yeah, the ghost lanterns. Place a power event. Swamp really the best place for that? Probably not. Let's do it anyway. Want the forest? Swamp. Let's do swamp. I need to explore the swamp more. Yeah. Ghost lanterns. High beauty, so not too bad here. Small chance that you would give me the shipping warehouse, which is exactly what I do not want. Good chance we'll draw spirit too. We already have a spirit. Let's spend a loan. Get those bonded rocks. Let us use you to get the tide markers. Yeah, and then we can use you. Oh, to yeah, bless beauty, add bloom to the top, please. Now, if I use you, you're not going to use anything at this point. We cannot access anything with the harmony. What piece of harmony would I like to take advantage of? Reedweaver's Hut. Can't fill that one in. I fill this in, there's no harmony for you to access. Yeah, I think we're just splitting you. Yep, so we can grab this rice paddy here. And over here we can grab this murky trail. You only have the one radiance. Hopefully redraw it. Hopefully. We did not get the radiance we were looking for. Rather tragic. Do I have anything else that could work here? No. I don't think we're going to get the ghost lanterns. Much sadness, much grief. I get that fungal garden at least. Hey, let's slot you in just in case something occurs to me. You would add that to the top. You would conjure that. Right, let's just do that like so. No real gain, but feels fancy. Yep. I am just going to game over here, I think. Don't. Yep. Did not accomplish what we wanted to. At least we managed to get the yarn spinner's shard culture intact. And the foray. Nato Iwa. Married rocks after responded rocks. Tsumugi Shima. The yarn spinners. Bunch of stuff. 198 insight. And we have some new stuff to look through. First of all, the last part of the managed estate shard culture. Today, the administration considers Kritsu no Kuni to have achieved a state of perfect, if fragile, balance. To protect this achievement from outside corruption, the Torii gates are sealed, and travel is strictly forbidden. The official records speak of a paradise where every citizen knows their exact role, every meal is meticulously proportioned, and the chaotic winds of the Cloud Sea are kept safely outside the high walls of the capital. And then the Holy Lakes also gets its second part. When the lake shrine was first founded, the priests adopted the ritual of meditating on the spot where the Torii Gate meets the water. Eventually, a pragmatic priest realized that it would be useful to record the change in water level, and erected a large wooden pillar in the lake on the other side of the shrine, marked with notches. Every day, the priest would use this giant ruler to measure and record the water level. Yeah, and that is a little bit of text dependent on the choice we made when we actually set up the shrine, because they would not always have this ritual. That's the ritual we decided for them. And the site of the first shrine. The early decision to restrict access to the first shrine to monks has had several consequences since. Yeah, same deal here, this was another decision we made. As the shrine expanded with pavilions, gardens, and prayer halls, more and more of the sacred woods became inaccessible to the common people. Before long, the whole of Kiganmori became a restricted sacred area. Now, up to +6 rarity. I'm wondering what else to in preparation for this next settlement. Try to aim for food. No mining or woodcutting developments. Overrun commune should be an easy one to do. I just pin this to make certain I keep this memorized. Yeah, a wildlife sanctuary, and then don't mine or cut down any wood. Yeah, plains, seashore, and maybe the forest. We have 200 here. What to spend you on? Some landmarks, guaranteeing events. Ability to just start with a relic. And yeah, we'll go get our starting relic. I believe it's just pulled from the pool of all discovered relics so far. You get your choice of one of a bunch. Longer surveys. Yeah, we'll grab you as well. And preview yields. Since that's the cheap one, we'll grab you in addition. Let's embark. Okay. Yep, so we have, whenever you build a spiritual development, restore an inspiration, maximum inspiration by 10, and if you slot a glyph of life essence, gain 10 safety. I mean, we are aiming for nature stuff, probably spirit stuff. We'll grab the copper ring, that's one of the special ones we picked. Okay. First, aiming for beauty, mountains and river. Yeah, mountain and river, settlement just there to start off with. Weeping Willows, the Amber Monastery, snow-capped peaks. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do anything with the Amber Monastery, not with our starting deck. That required quite high amounts of cards. Grab you. We'll grab you. We can grab, sure, yep, Sakura Riverbank just there. And discard and draw. Earth, yep, into the ice caves and redraw the hand. Grab the riverbank. Yeah, the ice caves. Crystal tunnels of frozen blue. They never look the same on repeat visits. And getting the Floating Lantern Festival. Ooh. You know, I don't think we're likely to get many more chances to get this one, and it is an event. Like, it's a unique with an event at the end of a chain. Like, rivers are rare. Let's just get that event. Drive up our yield. When the river rose. The rains came hard this season. The river swelled, spilled, and took more than it should have. A few homes were washed away. Stores of grain, precious records, and whole crates of tools were swallowed up. As festival season arrives, settlers debate whether the celebration should be cancelled, or if this is the time it is needed most. Okay, so if we have low glyphs, we actually get a unique option here. That's interesting, and since we just started, this is by far the time this is most likely. Let's cancel the festival and focus on recovery. No lanterns are lit, no river songs are sung. Instead, walls are mended, floors swept, and river lines rerouted. Even the rice paper from the lanterns is recycled for screens, leaving behind empty frames resting by the riverside. Oh. Reduce the minimum size of the glyph deck by 2. Interesting. The empty lantern frame. And this is even tagged as an uncommon relic. Yeah, that is the sort of thing if you really have a plan. Like, you can lock this event in, aim for it early, and then make use of that. It's also the sort of thing that's much better once you have a starting deck of actually good glyphs, rather than the little cheap ones you already have, because as it stands, we'd have to build up a lot of good glyphs in our deck and then whittle it down. I don't think we'll make good use of the empty lantern frame yet, but it's interesting to know where that is and that it exists. And you can see the floating lanterns in the river now. Konagashi, Lantern Flow, after its floating lantern festival. Exchange, I mean, that's nice because it draws. It does place itself on top of the draw deck though, so it doesn't get rid of itself. The blessing of food is nice. We'll take seaweed. Okay, harmony. Harmony, harmony, harmony. Lake, plains. Sure, grab the lake and the plains just there. Yeah, endless blossoms. That is one of our objectives. Maybe go to also the island shrine. Real expensive what it gives, really, the island shrine. Ferry crossing across the lake. Floating market. And let's grab... Yeah, we'll go for the apiary event. See if I can make my way to the Sacred Blossoms. And then we need to grab both of you, and then I guess we're just doing the hemp retting station here. It was a little bit sad. Let's go... You. Just fill one random, see what we get. Okay. You in, that's nice. And let's go for the ferry crossing. And redraw our hand. Yep, that's good. That's one of our objectives done. I can feel the power of this place. The essence of eternal spring flowing from the earth. Yes, this is no accident. The wind, the scent, everything follows an auspicious pattern. I feel the glyphs resonating. We must capture the stability essence of this place. Stability is what will bind the shards together. One of 3 objectives done. Speaking of stability essence, we have a lot of it, but no real role. Now we're not getting the floating market in. Getting a little bit more safety. You know what? Less food for all that's going to accomplish us. Petals carpet the field in unending bloom, as if spring itself took a vow never to leave. Aurita, fragrant field. Ooh, low value cards here. That is cute. Left puts right on top of the draw deck. Yes, left is draw one, and then adds right, which you can then spend adventure to also draw. I want to add that just for the sake of... Yeah. Let's do it. Let's get some more glyphs discovered. Before we made some progress so far. We need a wildlife sanctuary in a forest at some point, ideally. Yeah, places like the lake, and I think also little glyphs and the canyons you sometimes see, I believe they can only have one development on them. Like you see, even if I put a town here, this isn't on the lake. It's now on the forest and the mountains. We'll do forest and seashore here. Gonna push across in this direction. Seaweed farm into Pulse Sanctuary. Oh, again, I really need to get the upgrade that lets me redraw my starting hand. Because this is rough. Do not cut down the forest. That's the one objective we have this time. There's like anything here we do here? I could do Bonded Rocks. You. Forest Glade. Hidden Shrine. We want the Wildlife Sanctuary, don't we? Yeah. Okay, there is a life on top of the deck. Keep that, please. Let's just gain 5. Bring me that life. Okay. That gets... We'll go for the Wildlife Sanctuary. Get you. Just in case, we will dump one of you into there. And redraw the hand. Okay. So, that'll give me some beauty. I can get some more beauty from the Bonded Rocks if need be, but let's get that Wildlife Sanctuary. Cool. Now, other options here. Pearl Sanctuary. Yeah, I don't think I need less, so let's just draw that. Okay, not quite what I was looking for. Yeah, I guess we're just going Bonded Rocks here in order to make up the rest of the beauty. I could go the... Yeah, I can't make the Eternal Glade, even with the Continue. So let us... Less food? I'm not getting any use out of food. Bonded Rocks. Gain beauty. I can get the Driftwood Shore using the Continue. Jikakage Mori, Deer Shadow Forest, after its Wildlife Sanctuary. That's nice to see, Bloom. Yep. I'll take that, good card. Regional Survey. Let's explore down along this edge, through the wasteland. The surveyors are trying to pass over a hill when they reach a fork in the road. One path looks smooth, well trodden by animals, goes all the way around. The other's covered with loose stones, much more direct. If I climb the steep path, I get a mineral glyph. If I take the animal path, I get an animal glyph. I do. Following the long path takes up much of the day, and the scouts get well acquainted with the local fauna. Cake butterfly. See, my dog is a connection glyph. Connection is not bad, but we'll just take the other basic take butterfly. Oh, that's pretty. The Serene Sunrise. Yeah, 1926, another later one. Yeah, that's very nice. The sea is calm this morning. the grey rocks painted a coral red by the magnificent sunrise. The scouts contemplate the scene, taking in the gentle waves lapping against the shore and the grass-covered hills further ahead. Gather seashells, climb the rocks, admire the view. Let's gather seashells. The scouts walk along the shoreline as the sun rises. This shore has not seen people for a long, long time, and the ground is covered in a layer of seashells, each a different shape. They take a colourful scallop shell with them as a memento. Oh! Seashore settlements no longer have shortages. That is quite nice. The sea provides a myriad of treasures, if one chooses to recognise them. Yeah, especially like a map like this, you have this huge ocean, a lot of settlements are going to be shoreline, a lot are going to get that bonus. As evening falls and the group prepares dinner, the surveyors notice dark clouds gathering in the distance. Most of the team argues that they should seek shelter somewhere more secluded, but a few of the scouts think that the storm will probably pass them by. They reinforce the camp, safe option, no event. Seek shelter elsewhere, let's see what that does. The group ignores the minority who believe the storm will miss them. They break camp and walk back the way they came, seeking shelter under rocky overhangs. Although they remain dry, the team loses valuable time and misses dinner. -3 inspiration. The frozen pack. As the survey team is climbing a steep ridge among the icy peaks, they notice a traveller's pack, frozen solid to the rock. The design suggests the pack was made before the shattering. Melt ice with fire, mark location on the map, dig out with chisels. We don't have 2 craft. I don't really want to ignore, so I'm going to just slot you in there for the moment. And we'll redraw our hand, see what we get. Okay, yeah, more fire stuff. So we are melting the ice with fire. The fire has to be refueled several times until its heat is enough to melt the ice, but eventually the pack is freed. Inside, the scouts find an ancient map of the whole region that used to include this shard. The entire map of the shard has been revealed. And it's quite nice. As the team settles down to camp for the night, they gather around a campfire, intent on discussing the plan for the next day. Tell ghost stories, play music, compare maps. A bunch of different options. We'll do the simplest one here, compare maps. Scouts take out their maps, they take out the maps they've been sketching and prepare them, correcting discrepancies and adding in bits others have noticed. Use a landscape glyph. Vortex, discard 2, draw 2. Bamboo, another craft would be nice, and that's a continue. Let's take bamboo. The Endless Wall. Last night, the survey team had taken shelter from one of the violent storms that are so common in the wastelands. As they emerged in the morning, they're astonished to see an enormous white wall stretching across the horizon in both directions. It appears strangely undamaged, despite the centuries it must have stood here. Carter Wall. Yep. Then they've edited out the camel and stuff again. I'm going to alter the image a bit. So, options we have. Look for a way through, climb the wall, investigate the construction. Let's try and climb the thing. Several surveyors reach the top of the wall after a prolonged struggle. From the top, they can see the vast wasteland stretching out before them in both directions. To their surprise, the landscape beyond appears almost identical to the side they came from. Same glyph, we just saw that one. Not too bad. Now before we end the survey, let's just use some of these to gain various yield, and there we go. And because of that pack, we can now go anywhere on the shard. Beauty and knowledge. Yep, you can see this settlement has no shortage because it's on the coast. Beauty and knowledge, beauty and knowledge. And canyons are fun. Let's leave the canyon for a little bit later, though. Scrubland and step down this corner? Sure. Yeah, so mulberry patch into the paper mulberry grove, into the paper studio here. Probably the way to go. Butterfly, yeah, that conjure's foolish. Like, the clay pit is not a mining development, apparently. Unlikely not to go for it anyway, but that's nice. Yeah, craft in. You in. Let's see if I want to go for more knowledge stuff here. I don't readily have stuff to go through there. I can gain the beauty off this in order to grab you, put you there. Cool. Redraw hand. No radiance. We can continue, however. We shall do so. Yep, all good. And anything else I can really do through here? Don't particularly think so. Just draw something off the top, see what we pull. Could get the ant colony. Would that continue? Sure. Akikazeno, Autumn Windfield, after its step. Yeah, we're definitely removing a card. We have, 20 total glyphs in our deck now. It has grown quite a bit. Especially after that survey. It's 25 Harmony. Mountains and Forest. I'm barely making use of this coastline thing. Let's stick this on the seashore. Forest seashore. Right there. Seaweed farm, coral garden, shipping warehouse. Shrine. Could aim for the eternal glade. No, I don't really want to do that. Not until I have more adventure and knowledge. You're not going to spread anything. You will put equal on top of the deck. I don't have too much use for the connection stuff here. I mean, Shipwreck Shrine could use it. I'm not going to be able to get there with the connection we currently have. Put you on top. You are change and craft. Yeah, trouble is I don't really need is change stuff. Let's just draw a card there. Okay, we got another change. You can, however, alter into stability. And the stability can go onto here, Bonded Rocks. Get Driftwood Shawl a bit. Yeah, and let's then just stick that on top of the deck. And then we can continue the Driftwood Shoal. And then we redraw the hand. Yep, and then we split this. I don't really mind which one this goes into. Okay, Shipwreck Shrine. Call the Shrine, Shipwreck Shrine. Let's go the Shipwreck Shrine this time. And then we can do whatever we want over here. Hidden Shrine. into the hermit's hut. And we're going to have some difficulty doing that stuff. Like that. Good, we kept the continue. It's still not going to help us though. Yeah, so just leave that as is. Shipwreck Shrine, Hermit's Hut. Unanagori. Ship remnants. After its Shipwreck Shrine. Yep. Strip another card out. Let's take fire. And security and adventure. Let's see. Wasteland and seashore? Sure. Invalid. Must settle dry land. Yep, just needs to go a bit closer. Yeah. Oh, ruined outpost event again. Hopefully we have enough change and stuff to get another outcome on that, because we only had access to the bad one before. We could also go adventure stuff here, but we're looking at... Yeah, now this time we do not have the change we need in order to make the progress we really want. I guess, yeah, we're going Rock Garden up here and Ruined Outpost for that. And we're relying on the shipping warehouse over here to try and get our adventure. So, want to get enough. Navigator's Guild would do it, but we're going to be short on Radiance. So I guess we're going through the Shipwright's Yard. The Ruined Outpost would also need the continue. So let's go, yeah, here. Continue. Fill 1. Okay. That's decent. Ooh. No stability, no stability. Yeah, you conjure not the correct things. You stick that on top of the draw pile. Oh, no connection either. Bit rough, honestly, bit rough. Yeah, real rough. What we currently have. I do have a couple of draws. What's coming on top? Okay, we have stability on top. That's nice. Keep that. Draw that. Oh, wrong way around now. That stuck something else on top of the deck. Damn, I needed to run the risk of the discard there. Didn't I? Yeah. Yeah, this is just going to be rough. You're another draw at least. I just lose 10 adventure, which I cannot readily afford. On this settlement, yeah, we just lose a bunch of inspiration here. Could lose knowledge, draw some inspiration, but I'm already on max, so that won't help. Yagata, Timber Lagoon, after its Shipwright's Yard. Ow. That hurt, that did. Lecture is nice. Yeah, we're really short on Radiance, that's some more stuff, we're grabbing that. Now on to the Convergence. So we are short 2 knowledge, 1 adventure. We do currently have a knowledge source. Yeah, we do meet the overgrown commune requirement, which is also our knowledge place. Can we get an adventure capital in the swamp somewhere? Yeah, I don't think anything else will really work. Deserts are also adventure, I'm pretty sure, but we have no deserts. So, yeah. Capital over here. Long way from anything else. Yep, and then you can connect into this place. Cool. You now have adventure and knowledge. And I'm not going to be doing these for the Radiance, so I'm just going to use you to fill 1 randomly. Okay. Oh, perfect. That was the Earth. That was what we really wanted. Well, I can change that to an Earth anyway, so. Yep. That gets me previous, which I can then use to connect up you. Yeah, long road. And you, yep, conjure in flower. Fine, you inspire, but then gain that. I think I would rather, yeah, use... I mean, that inspiration would be useful. It's just a little bit of knowledge. Let's lose that knowledge. Gain that bit of healing. Okay. Connect up a couple of other things easily enough. And we could gain a bunch of our knowledge back even, but... You're definitely going there. Yep, connect you up. And everything on the shore is never going to have a shortage, so they're all going to be fine for the next bit. You know what? Yeah, just gain that knowledge. Spend that bit of harmony. Stick you there, and I don't think anything else to do with these. No. End convergence. Cool. Select a relic. More inspiration. Reduce hand size by 2. Increase the number of times you can draw. Increase the number of glyphs. I haven't gotten the Traveler's Abacus yet. It's still showing up as new. But I don't really like this because, especially without the ability to redraw starting hand, the smaller starting hand means that a lot of the time you're just going to be skipping the first round, essentially. So we'll just gain that extra inspiration. Salvage glyph. Let's take, yep, our basic life glyph. Salvage that. Food and knowledge. Wouldn't mind trying to get the Ghost of Lanterns on the seashore at some point. We'll hold off ending this until that point if we can. Knowledge, mountains, forests, plains. I mean, hill, plain, steppe, hill, forest. Where's a good knowledge spot for me? Canyon is a good knowledge location. Canyon, forest, mountains. Yep, go food in the forest. Canyon, a mountain here. Okay. The knowledge is quite deep in the chain somewhere. That gets most, so we don't need too much. Murmuring Ravine, which we cannot readily access. You know what? That gets me all the knowledge if I just use Lecture. Could be worse. Yeah, I just have stability, don't I? Nothing else, just stability. And, oh well. Must one of them sorted out at least. Just take the winding path. Get something done. Not exactly a road, but beats scrambling over the rocks. And, yeah, then just redraw hand. See, dead hand to start with. Okay, so we need... You at least, we can get the stability off that. We're not totally dead here. That's nice. I appreciate not being totally dead sometimes. Lodging Glade. Into the Fruit Grove. Okay. And then just do something with this place. Murmuring Ravine. Yeah, do that. Try and draw something. It cannot make use of you on your own, so let's just draw something else. Lose the adventure? No thanks. I'm happy just with this now. Kazakarine, wind-cutting ridge after its winding path. And I'm still just pulling a lot of these low cards quite frequently. I don't have that many high ones though. I mean, I want advanced cards with basic essences on them. In the meantime, let's just cut out stand. High harmony, 50 harmony. Okay, what are we looking at? Town square, large building, shrubland. I wouldn't mind getting town square, seashore, shrubland. I wouldn't mind getting the large building and the seashore, but I don't think that's happening. Yeah, we'll just do other across there. Scrubland, town square, seashore. Yeah, Bramble Hollow, Rabbit Warden, Incense Workshop is good. Festival Grounds, also good. Problems now need the stability, and we're not getting that. Let's see. Sure, go this way. Festival Grounds. Into both of you. First arena. Try for the Dragonfly Theatre. Hope we get the connection. Now, you could go Seaweed Farm, which could at least maybe get me this Coral Garden. Could gain some beauty off you. Sure, go Seaweed Farm there. You just give me something. Okay, Mulberry Patch it is. Not what I was hoping for. We will live. We hope. Okay. So we can continue twice. I mean, just one of these continues gets us the full way. Might as well just spend you in the slot. Same deal. Dragonfly Theatre. Every shard has its own Dragonfly troupe, preserving a tradition from before the Shattering. Grab Coral Garden. Lose the knowledge. Might very well be worth it. Yeah, lose a bit of knowledge, get a bit more inspiration, and end the foray there. Akatsubutai, Dragonfly Stage, after its Dragonfly Theatre. Okay, there's some of the basic stuff I was looking for. Not the stability I really wanted. Correct would also be decent. You know what? Yeah, let's grab correct. 55 adventure. Ooh, a lot of adventure needed. Swamp is good for adventure. Forest, seashore. Rocky cliffs, swamp, mountains. I kind of want to get those ghost lanterns too, though. But where would I go to get forest, seashore, swamp? Bad. I can't squeeze in over that large building. I can do this one. Sure. Large building, seashore, swamp. Yeah, because we have the Adventurers Guild here, which is a good source of this stuff. Wanted to go up to those ghost lanterns. Yeah, we'll use you. Spread one of these. Okay, just the basic earth. Use you there. Use you in the common dining hall. This is an event too, which is lovely. Stick you there. You there. Do you think we want to use the radiance rather than expand here? And you can be the murky trail. Redraw the hand. Okay. Don't have continue of any sort to get this, which is a bit of a shame. Can, however, get the Adventurers Guild. The guild is planning its own expedition to map the Shard and compose one grand official map. We already got an official map in the early event, lads. You don't need to do that. As the explorers look out across the landscape, a debate breaks out. Some argue the map should be precise, with every ridge and river marked. Others say it must highlight useful lands, fertile valleys, and safe routes. A few grin and suggest a more thrilling approach. Mark the mysteries, the rumoured beasts, the unexplained ruins. A veteran simply shrugs and says, why not just let everyone draw what they've seen? Let's focus on... Oh, that might... Focusing on accurate geography, I feel like might decrease our adventure. And we don't want to do that too much. This one almost certainly will increase the adventure. Yeah, let's just go with that. Emphasize sites of danger, mystery, and excitement. The map is filled with swirling marks and jagged notations. Oh, new card actually. Cave entrances, spots where past explorers disappeared, and alleged habitats of mythical beasts. Still, this mess of guesswork and outright fiction can't help but instill a thrill for exploration. Inspire and adds Perilous to the top of the deck. Cool. Now, we are still, however, short the radiance we needed for Ghost Lanterns. And get the Glowing Lantern Path. Just check there's no way I can do anything to get that, can I? No. Don't produce harmony. Nah. Much sadness. Glowing Lantern Path it is. Let's get that bit of inspiration back. Counteract the tiny bit of loss we'll be earning here. Honestly, we're at the point where I could even grab the forest if I really wanted to. I only could do the Sunken Fortress too. Well, let's grab that Sunken Fortress. Moss-covered walls rise from the murky depths, a testament to ancient stubbornness. Kaza Oiza, Windchaser seat, Arthur's Adventurers Guild. Okay, forbid. Accumulate. Wouldn't mind accumulate, I don't think. The craft and the stability. Sure. Regional survey time. Nowhere really to explore, so let's just pop this down somewhere with a bunch of new ones. Down here in the swamp near the cliff, 15 new possible encounters out of the 33. The air is oppressively hot and humid as the survey team makes its way to the top of the cliff. As they crest the final rise, they see an old bridge crossing over a stream ending in a roaring waterfall. A tiny shrine overlooks the site, sheltering a little stone pillar wrapped in a beautiful jade necklace. My harmony is far too high to just steal the necklace. I clean the shrine. Maybe what happens? The scouts wipe away layers of moss that have started to grow on the shrine's roof, and brush decades of dust from the necklace. Carved in the rock behind the pillar, they find the image of a shrine maiden, whirling the necklace held in her hand. Priestess. Life and spirit, sped spirit, divine one. The tigers. Yeah, I believe, we did see this one previously. Tigers approaching. Lighting a torch makes us lose safety, watching behavior. Let's see what happens when we watch their behavior. The group remains motionless, carefully observing the beasts. One scout slowly points behind him. Lying on top of Lying on top of a patch of flattened grass is a fresh animal carcass. Oh, I stumbled over my words a lot there. The group slowly moves out of the tiger's way and are ignored as a reward. Lost in the swamp. Scout sandals cling to the muck as they swat at clouds of insects. They've been circling the same pools and arguing over the same landmarks under the overcast sky all day. At last, they come upon something new. A small blooming cherry tree alone in the swamp. Probably the last tree we'll ever see, mutters one of the scouts. Follow the pessimist, challenge the pessimist, camp by the tree, ignore the pessimist. And let's try following the pessimist. Don't expect we'll all arrive in one piece, the scout says glumly. Still, he traces the tree's roots and finds a narrow ridge of solid ground beneath the water. He predicts lost sandals, unfriendly wildlife, and death. The group follows his lead anyway. The first two predictions come to pass, but the last does not. Bunch of adventure. Ah, the abandoned temple, yes. Odd noises in the night as they camp in this old temple. So the odd statuette. Yeah, every 2 Radiance Essence slots filled, gain 15 harmony. Let's camp despite misgivings. The scouts disregard the naysayers and camp inside the temple anyway. During the night, they wake up to scratching noises, and they raise their torches. They find a group of brown bear cubs ransacking their packs, spilling supplies everywhere. After the commotion dies down and the scouts are safe outside, they realize they had to leave most of their supplies behind. Minus 30 food. Bitter water. The scouts have been rationing water for days. They finally reach a stream so clear that every stone beneath the water is visible. 3 thirsty travellers rush ahead of the group, and dipping their vessels into the flowing water, take a drink. They immediately spit it out. The water is unbearably bitter. Some suspect the stream has been cursed by spirits, others that it's been contaminated upstream. Yeah, so we could get the vomit. We do not particularly want to vomit. Let's go for one of the expensive ones. Search downstream, search upstream. And I have to assume the source will be upstream, so what happens if I search downstream? The scouts walk several miles downstream and try the water again. Still clear, and the taste is clearly better. Fill their vessels, drink deeply, refreshed. Fresh, yeah, we just get clear water. And that is a nice card. The Valley Path. The explorers find themselves in a narrow valley with steep, high walls. The path twists for exposed stone and small groves, occasionally opening onto patches of grass. The valley branches out in several nearly identical paths. Scouts worry that choosing the wrong path could strand them in a dead end, or leave the group wandering in circles. Explore separate paths, follow the sound of water, choose the widest path. Let's see, let's follow the sound of water. The scouts notice the smell of damp earth and hear the sound of moving water echoing off the walls of the narrowest path. They decide to follow these clues, soon arrive at a bubbling spring. Fountain. Use you to get a bunch of knowledge. A whole bunch of productivity. Now, productivity is likely going to be most easily raised using some of these ones, so I think I'm just going to call this little expedition quits here. Well, I know I have this shard culture. We got one of the 3 we were looking for done, so finish expedition early. Yep, 36 bonus insight, please. Mezukami Mori, the Overgrown Communes. Bunch of new stuff discovered. A couple of very interesting relics discovered too. Yep, 4 more things, including Overgrown Communes is not unlocked yet, though we know we got that, but we have got the first entry for the Yarn Spinners. First of all though, last the tight-knit community. Iriajima has become a headache for cartographers and a paradise for wanderers. The walk between two townships is across a dozen invisible borders, each marked mainly by a change in the pickling recipes. The roads are similarly chaotic, each town paving just enough of a path to reach a nearby forest or particularly picturesque vista. The Yarn Spinners. When the first settlers arrived in Tsumugi-shima, many of them set up weaving workshops in towns across the land. These workshops were tiny, single-family affairs, producing just enough to keep their neighbours clothed. Most used labour-intensive backstrap looms and sewed the cloth into simple garments by themselves. Although hemp was the predominant material, some began to raise silkworms, but they barely produced enough silk to make handkerchiefs. The Enlightened One's abode? Grand statue we set up. When the scribe declared that the time of passivity had passed, the monks quickly sprang into action. The prayer halls were turned into glyph research halls, and scholars began producing treatises and commentaries on the old texts. The priesthood organization evolved too, as new teachers arose to lead factions focused on studying different types of essence. These masters now wear special robes and carry gold scepters adorned with relics to mark their station, and pilgrims regularly arrive to beg for their blessing. And the land of the first shrine. As shrines are built in other towns in the Shard, they also enforce the ban on lay people. However, an exception was made for those who wanted to present offerings to the Enlightened One. To make sure no commoner could pretend to be a monk, laws were instituted, allowing only monks to wear orange clothing. For unclear reasons, this was later expanded to include all dyed clothing, and eventually required laypeople to dress only in clothing made of rough, undyed hemp. Becoming a little bit of a theocracy at the moment. We'll see how things develop. 7% bonus rarity now. Whole lot of different things to go for. Some like the Turning Society, you just need to get stats up high enough. AP distributors, that's going to need a lot of town squares. Settlements connected. Yeah, some of the fun ones will be stuff like this one. Like every settlement needs one of this list in it, which means you need to be very careful where you place stuff in. Land of the Flow, yeah, just everything on river. Whole lot of things to do. We weren't far off the austere rationeers on that last segment, we barely had any food. I do think we're probably pretty close to finishing up today. Just looking at the time, a little bit shorter than usual, but that's okay. Before I do that, let's have a look at our various upgrades here, see what we can afford. I've really wanted this replan stuff for some time. Let us unlock you. Now if I get a completely dud hand initially, I can change it out for a new hand. Grab some landmark stuff, reroll 4A goals. Describe an uncommon rarity tier for my signature glyph? Sure. Let's grab that. A slightly better glyph as my signature. And since I've done that, let me think about what glyph I would like to. And ready to inscribe. What do I have available down here under the uncommon glyphs? So at the moment, the glyph I am using is fire that can be changed out to earth with the invocation. I could just do, change and stability. Other options here include year, which is just a strictly better version of our current card. Swim has a safety bless on it, which is also nice. Other options here, I want some of the connection maybe, make linking up settlements earlier. Equal, splits and also targets harmony. Law. Could do versus, gains adventure, loses harmony. Bird blesses adventure. I'm thinking a bless card maybe. So we have an option for less safety up here, less knowledge over here. Checking through, less beauty over here. Adds bloom to the top. That's a pretty nice card. Beauty's usually not a difficult one to access. Let's get bird. We'll inscribe this. And then I'll just make certain I remember to change that out. Yep, that is my new signature. But I do think that this is probably about it for today. What do you think would win in a fight? A guard or a magician? Oh, we got new monthly orders. Monk of the Order of Growth. Plant seeds to remind ourselves that patience is a virtue. What other monk people around? Another magician, another magician. I think that's the only monk at the moment. I was curious. Yeah, because the new orders are emerging at this moment. That's fun. Well, like I said, I think that's probably going to be it for today. So, thank you very much for watching, people. Thank you very much to the Yisu for the raid earlier. Thank you very much for any potential VOD watchers out there. I've made it right through to the end of my little rambling bit here. Now, I should hopefully have my next stream this upcoming Sunday. Little bit of uncertainty there. I have some social obligation stuff kicking around that might kind of displace that a little bit. So I might be a little bit early, or a little bit late, or maybe not even at all. We'll see. I should definitely be back next week on Thursday, though. Sunday's still a maybe at this point. Like I said, thank you very much for watching, people. Hope I'll see you all next time. But for now, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.